All right, let's dive into something fascinating today, the smart city paradox. It's all about what happens when the futuristic dream of a high-tech city crashes into the messy reality of the people who actually live there. We hear it all the time. We're told that smart sensors, big data, and AI are going to build these amazing, efficient cities for us. But is it really that simple? Does just adding more tech automatically make a city better? Well, a really interesting study suggests the answer is way more complicated than you'd think. So the whole idea behind this is rooted in a field with a pretty intense name, social cybernetics. I know, it sounds super academic, right? But the concept is actually pretty simple. Just think of a city like a living thing. Social cybernetics is the science of how it communicates and keeps itself in balance, using technology as its central nervous system. And the goal here is huge. It's really ambitious. The dream is to use this tech nervous system to design these perfectly planned, orderly cities where everything just works. The promise is a better quality of life for everyone, less traffic, more safety. It's a beautiful vision. But the million-dollar question is, does it actually hold up in the real world? To figure that out, we're not going to just talk theory. We're going to look at a detailed investigation that put this exact idea to the test, right on the ground in Peru. This is where the rubber really meets the road. So these researchers, they didn't just guess. They went out and collected some serious data. They surveyed 482 people across 3 different districts to get a clear, real-world snapshot of what impact technology was actually having. This chart here, it's basically the perfect roadmap for their investigation. Over on the left, you've got the 5 different ways they measured how tech was being used. Those are the potential causes. And on the right, you have the things they were hoping to improve, the effects, like a better economy and quality of life. The big question is, does the stuff on the left actually cause the stuff on the right? So they put 5 key areas of city tech under their microscope. They looked at everything from how the city communicates with its people all the way to its internal knowledge systems. They really wanted to see what was making a difference and what was just spinning its wheels. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because after they crunched all the numbers, a pattern started to emerge. And honestly, the results were not what anybody expected. Okay, this model is basically the answer key to the whole mystery. It maps out the precise mathematical impact of each type of tech on the city's development. And those numbers on the arrows, that's where the real story is. So let's start with the good news and zero in on the biggest winner. I mean, out of everything they tested, one factor stood head and shoulders above the rest, with a huge positive effect on how the city was developing. And boom, there it is, a positive impact score of over 0.84. That is a massive effect. And what was it for? Technology that was used for shared decision-making. This tells us that when you use tech to give people a real say in their community, the results are incredibly powerful. But, and this is a really big but, on the flip side, the study found something pretty shocking. One type of tech didn't just have a weak effect or no effect at all. It actually had a significant negative impact. It was actively making things worse. Yep, look at that, a negative 0.3661. And this was for technology used in knowledge management. We're talking about the databases and internal systems that are supposed to make an organization smarter. This result completely flies in the face of the idea that just digitizing everything is automatically a good thing. This cable here is the final report card. It just lays it all out perfectly. You can see collaboration tech. Meh, no real effect. Communicating with the public, a small positive bump. But then you see the 2 big standouts again. Knowledge management confirmed to have a negative effect, and shared decision-making, just absolutely knocking it out of the park. So the big question is, why? Right? Why did some tech work so incredibly well while another type just completely backfired? Let's decode these numbers. The study itself gives us a massive clue, especially about why knowledge management failed so badly. It points to a problem that's very, very human, this lack of continuity due to staff turnover. So here's what was happening. Every time a new administration was elected, the experienced staff would get replaced. And all their knowledge, all their experience about how things really work, it just walked right out the door with them. A fancy software system can't fix that. In fact, it just becomes this clunky, outdated tool for the new people. The tech simply couldn't patch over that human gap. And what about those collaboration tools that didn't work? It's a similar story. The study found what it called an almost null articulation, which is a fancy way of saying there was basically zero meaningful conversation happening between the public and private groups. You can have the best collaboration software in the world, but if people aren't willing or able to actually work together, that tech is just useless. It's like a phone line with nobody on the other end. So, when you put this all together, what's the big lesson? What does this tell us about what it really takes to build a better city? Well, the most important takeaway is this. Technology is just a tool. It's not magic. Its success or failure depends entirely on the human systems it's supposed to be supporting. Tech can't fix a broken political culture or total lack of trust between institutions. And that's why the winning tech won so big. The technology that really worked wasn't about managing information from the top down. It was about empowering people from the bottom up. It was about using tech to create real citizen participation and give people a genuine stake in the decisions that shape their own lives. Which really leaves us all with a final question to think about. It's not about how smart your city is or how many gadgets it has. The real question we should be asking is this: how does your city use technology to listen to you?